Thank you so much for joining me today. So why don't you introduce yourself for those who don't know you, just your name, your title, and the organization that you represent.
Right. Well, my name's Julia Walsh, and I'm CEO and founder of Brand Medicine International. It's a startup that basically came about because I was always curious what happened when people went online and they exchanged questions for health advice. And I feel like traditionally a lot of the approach that we've taken in healthcare is very company-centric, very search engine-centric. And I wanted to kind of look through the lens of those end users, our customers and stakeholders in healthcare, from patients right through to healthcare professionals, and understand what the digital information experience looked like from their end. So that's why I created this company. We are search listening specialists. And basically our services are based on the methodology that I developed took about 18 months to learn how to do the search listening analysis, to understand how to differentiate questions from healthcare professionals and patients, and then figure out ways to map that digital information experience qualitatively as well as quantitatively, and understand what is really representing the digital share of voice that's driving the narrative in a particular category. So that's basically the business.
Yeah.
And I mean, my role is CEO, but like as a startup, it's chief execution officer. Like you're doing everything. It's very, very hands-on.
Yeah.
I love it. I think that's what really drives the business forward is passion, not just from myself, but the people on my team. I've had people come towards the business that are really interested in what I do. They've read my book, What We Really Ask Dr. Google, and they've gone, oh my God, I want to be a part of it. And so that's what really sort of drives us all, is passion and enthusiasm for cleaning up the internet for patients.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Well, your passion is completely obvious and you exude it, which is so inspiring, despite the jet lag. Well, Julia, I was wondering, is this your first HITLAB Summit, or have you been to them in the past?
I've been a fellow with HITLAB for a number of years now, but this is my first in-person summit. I guess COVID, of course, through the spanner in the works for that. It is such a pleasure to be back in New York. I lived here for 10 years, so it feels like coming home in a way. And having collaborated with you guys online for such a long time, I feel like I know you all anyway. So it's really, really lovely to be back here and part of the HITLAB community in person.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been great seeing everyone in person, and so great to have you here. Thank you for suffering through jet lag to be with us. So I was wondering, who are some of the people that you've met at the summit so far? And what kind of companies are you interested in?
I mean, the stellar lineup of people that are presenting here is just incredible, from the World Bank to Meg Barron from the AMA, and having the opportunity to work with her. I think there's so many potential collaborations from the work that I do in search listing analysis and driving change through digital activism online to improve the delivery of health advice that's evidence-based into the hands of the decision makers, from prescribers to patients. There's opportunities to collaborate at the highest level to clean that up. I've actually through COVID, been in conversations with the WHO, and then here getting to connect with people like Meg is just incredible, because there is an opportunity now to start a conversation about, well, how do we apply this methodology, especially with the disruption that's happening online as people are transitioning from traditional search engine experience where they get a menu of ranked websites and they have to do their own research, into these crazy conversations with AI-driven chatbots that include hallucinations, that rely sometimes on references to support their answers that are not even valid. So we are, I feel, going to go backward before we go forward. So there's a need to be proactive. Collaborating with people like Meg is amazing. I also met Olivier from Chapter 3. He was at Google for 11 years. And he's actually introducing me to someone I'm meeting this evening who was on his team, who potentially may be interested to join my company.
Wow.
So it's really exciting.
Yeah, that's wonderful, wonderful news. So you sort of talking about it a little bit, but how do you see that collaboration looking for you and brand medicine in the future? So how do you see yourselves supporting other companies, and how do you see them supporting you?
I mean, I think collaboration is
Yeah.
key to growth. I've always been very kind of expansive in my thinking about publishing my methodology in my book. Some people would say, well, why would you do that? That's your secret sauce.
Yeah.
I believe there's enough work out there for all of us, but I also believe there's an urgent need to improve the digital information experience in healthcare.
Yeah.
There's a huge digital disconnect. There's an enormous amount of misinformation that festers and rises into the vacuums when, from a regulatory point of view around the world, we're not allowed to have a voice about prescription medications in many markets. So that's why I sort of want to collaborate as much as possible. Building on that, I think there's ways that we can support each other by leaning in and looking at this change and not putting our heads in the sand and going, oh, that's a problem. So the way other companies can support me is by actually, hiring me to bring my team into the mix and collaborate together. So I think that's the biggest thing as a startup is that, you get invited to come and speak to different audiences and their marketing forums and things like that. And most people have been amazing and they will pay for that time and pay for the preparation that goes into that. But I think a lot of the time as well, sometimes they don't recognize that when you are self-employed and they want you to come and speak at something, that you're sometimes the only person in the room who's not being paid as well. So supporting the presentations that I go to different companies to present, but then also turning that into work. Like, let's do a pilot together.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's trial it, let's play.
Yeah.
I think another thing that can be a challenge to startups in the innovative space is the procurement model in big companies often requires 3 different quotes for the work. And so finding ways over that when you're providing something that's really new and there isn't another competitor in that space is another way to kind of accelerate adoption of new and innovative thinking. So that's been a challenge that I've found. Yeah.
Well, Julia, thank you so much for joining me today and for chatting. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
And I hope you enjoy the rest of the summit.
Excellent.
Thank you so much,
Dan.